My name is Ryan Gary, and I'm a graduate research assistant with the Oklahoma State Cooperative Fish and Wildlife Research Unit. So I will be graduating hopefully next spring with a degree in natural resources ecology management, and it'll be a Master's of Science. My research focuses particularly on paddlefish restoration and what factors influence whether or not a stocked population of paddlefish becomes self-sufficient, or whether they can become or sustain naturally in these lakes where we've stocked them. So paddlefish need natural systems and free-flowing rivers to become self-sustaining. They can reproduce in tailwaters below dams, but dams inhibit their spawning migration to reach their historic spawning grounds, and these dams can also alter thermal and flow regimes in the river, which can affect their spawning habits. So in the spring, paddlefish need an increase in temperature, photo period, and flow to reproduce, and the main thing is they need that increase in temperature, and that increase in photo period allows them to develop their gametes, the eggs and spermatozoa. And once they have an increase in flow, they are triggered to spawn. So some of these lakes have certain environmental variables that aren't necessarily conducive for paddlefish reproduction. And that is what we look into. So once paddlefish have the necessary increases in photo period, flow, and temperature, that then triggers them to spawn. And once the egg is fertilized, the egg becomes adhesive, and it needs hard substrates like gravel, rock, and boulder for these adhesive eggs to stick on. And so what I do with my side scan sonar, I map these rivers that paddlefish use. And essentially this side scan sonar can paint a picture of the bottom and show me what different substrates make up the river itself. And in particular, I'm looking for those hard substrates that eggs would adhere to, your cobble, rock, and boulder. And using the side scan sonar, I can identify different patches of these hard substrates, and then I can outline them and tell you how much of the river is made up of these hard substrates. And hopefully by doing that, we can then compare each river to the other rivers and say this one has a certain amount of hard substrates versus the others. And then by doing that, we're hoping to see an overall theme of kind of a certain threshold of how much spawning habitat these paddlefish need to be restored. So I map about 50 river kilometers on each reservoir tributary that I focus on. And this side scan sonar technology allows me to map that 50 kilometers in about 3 or 4 days if I have appropriate flows. Whereas it would take weeks before to just map one of these rivers on the scale that we're doing if we were to do it manually. So what we've got going on right now is we have the transducer mounted at the front of the boat, and that's to reduce turbulence that is associated with the prop. And what that transducer is going to allow us to do is it shoots out acoustic pulses that go to either side of the boat, the right and the left side. And what we see coming back from them are the reflections from those pulses that represent hard substrates. So it will actually outline boulders and rocks. So as we're driving past this, we can see any structure out to the right. We can also see these boulders out to the left on the screen. And then I can record that, go back in on my computer and post-process it, and I can outline those areas and get a certain amount of area of whatever substrate we're looking at, whether it's cobble, rock, boulder, things that paddlefish would use to spawn on. Some of these lakes have certain environmental variables that aren't necessarily conducive for paddlefish reproduction. What you're seeing right here is the three-dimensional model of the river that we've created, and you'll see those substrate categories, the dark blue again representing unsuitable and the other colors representing suitable. And what we can do with this model is then adjust the water level that's in the river. So here you'll see we'll bring in flow, and we can start to see how much habitat is available at certain flows in the river. So one of the most interesting things about paddlefish in the US is that they're one of the largest freshwater fishes that we have. And so this really allows anglers who are in landlocked states like Oklahoma an opportunity to catch these large fish where they might not have that opportunity. In particular, Keystone Lake has broken the record 4 times this spring and broken the world record twice. And the most recent world record was set at 150 pounds. So these paddlefish really provide a recreational opportunity for fishermen in the state and the surrounding areas to pursue large fish they might otherwise not have the opportunity to catch. Another opportunity that paddlefish provide is the opportunity to harvest your own caviar. Caviar is distinct to those fishes of the Accipinceriformes order, so your sturgeon and your paddlefish. And it provides high quality small black eggs that people like to use for appetizers and things of that nature. But how we also take advantage of this in Oklahoma is we have the Paddlefish Research Center in Miami, Oklahoma. And if you harvest a paddlefish in Oklahoma, you can bring it to the Paddlefish Research Center. They will take measurements and data from this fish, as well as cleaning it for you. But they will keep the caviar if the fish has any. And what the Paddlefish Research Center does with this caviar is they then wholesale distribute it, and they use the money that they gain from that caviar to do more research that otherwise would not be possible without these funds.